Springfield, Missouri, a city nestled amidst the gentle undulations of the Ozarks, once carried the quiet hum of American life, a place where the ordinary unfolded with predictable rhythm and the days drifted by in a predictable, comforting sequence. But on a sweltering June night in 1992, that rhythm shattered with an abruptness that defied comprehension, replaced by an unnerving silence that has echoed through its streets for decades, a chilling testament to the fragility of peace. 3 women, a mother, her daughter, and a friend, vanished from a home in the very heart of this seemingly tranquil city, leaving behind a mystery so pristine, so utterly devoid of struggle, that it defied every expectation of crime. This is the enduring enigma of the Springfield Three, a wound that refuses to close. The evening of June 6th had been typical, filled with the simple joys of youthful accomplishment. For Suzie Streeter, a vibrant 22-year-old, and her friend Stacy McCall, 19. They had spent the day celebrating their high school graduation, attending various parties across the town, basking in the fleeting freedom of their newfound independence. By late that night, they arrived at Suzie's mother's modest residence at 1737 East Delmar Street, a familiar and comforting haven where Sherrill Levitt, 47, awaited them. The 3 women were last seen alive by friends and family, their plans for the following day including a lighthearted trip to a local water park, unaware of the abyss that lay before them. The next morning, June 7th, however, brought no sign of the 3. Friends and relatives, growing increasingly concerned when repeated calls went unanswered, arrived at the Delmar Street house. They found the front door inexplicably unlocked. Inside, the scene was unsettlingly normal, yet profoundly, terrifyingly wrong. The women's cars were still parked outside. Their keys, purses, and even Cheryl's beloved dog all remained within the house. There was no note, no sign of forced entry, no overturned furniture, no broken glass, no indication of a struggle. It was as if the women had simply ceased to exist, evaporating into the humid Missouri air, leaving only questions in their wake. The initial police investigation found a meticulously undisturbed crime scene, a paradox that immediately baffled seasoned detectives and defied conventional forensic logic. A shattered porch light cover was the only anomaly noted by some, yet it offered no clear direction, no tangible starting point for an investigation. The beds had been slept in, the television was on, a silent sentinel in the living room. Every indication suggested a peaceful night's sleep, followed by an inexplicable, collective departure. This haunting lack of tangible evidence, this very cleanliness of the scene, became its most frustrating and enduring characteristic, a void that swallowed every lead. News of the disappearance spread like a cold front through Springfield, chilling the summer air. The local police department launched an immediate and extensive search, mobilizing officers, K-9 units, and hundreds of volunteers. Every wooded area, every abandoned structure, every remote stretch of the Ozark landscape was scoured with desperate intensity. But the sheer scale of the search was matched only by the utter absence of any trace of Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, or Stacy McCall. The community, initially gripped by disbelief, quickly descended into a collective state of fear and profound bewilderment, realizing a darkness had touched their quiet city. Early theories circulated, grasping at straws in the vacuum of facts, each one proving more inadequate than the last. Had they run away? Unlikely, given their personal belongings, their future plans, and the sudden, synchronized nature of their vanishing. Was it a random act of violence? The undisturbed home argued vehemently against it. Was it a targeted abduction? If so, by whom, and with what motive, leaving no discernible footprint, no single clue to follow? Each hypothesis seemed to crumble under the weight of the inexplicable details, leaving investigators with more questions than answers, and the public with a chilling sense of their own vulnerability. The vibrant energy of Springfield began to dim under the oppressive shadow of the missing 3. Doors that once stood ajar were now double-locked. Children were kept closer, their playtime curtailed. The easy trust that often characterizes small-town life began to erode, replaced by a pervasive unease that settled deep into the community's psyche. People looked at their neighbors with a new, subtle suspicion, and the comfortable familiarity of home now carried a faint, unsettling echo of the silent house on Delmar Street. The city learned, abruptly, that even within its own walls, safety was merely an illusion. For the families, the initial shock transmuted into a relentless, agonizing vigil, a purgatory of perpetual longing. The passage of days turned into weeks, then months, each sunrise bringing renewed, fragile hope, and each sunset deepening the crushing despair. Janelle Kirby, Suzie Streeter's sister, and Mary McCall, Stacy McCall's mother, became tireless advocates, their lives consumed by the relentless search for answers. The emotional toll was immeasurable, a constant ache of not knowing, of imagining the unimaginable, a grief without the solace of a grave. Years later, a new chilling detail emerged, casting a fresh pall over the established facts and reigniting a flicker of morbid curiosity. In 1993, a year after the disappearance, an anonymous caller phoned the Springfield Crime Stoppers line. The male voice, calm and unsettlingly specific, claimed the three women were buried at a particular construction site in Springfield. He also ominously stated that police should dig there, but that it wouldn't be found, implying a deeper, more sinister knowledge, and chillingly declared that the women were already dead. This cryptic, unsettling message was initially dismissed by some as a cruel prank, but its specific details would later lend it a disturbing, almost prophetic weight. Despite the initial dismissal, the anonymous tip resurfaced in 2007, prompting a large-scale excavation of the suggested construction site. Ground-penetrating radar was meticulously utilized, revealing several anomalies beneath the earth. Hope, a fragile, desperate thing, surged through the families and the weary investigative team who had toiled for so long without a breakthrough. Yet, after days of meticulous digging, the earth yielded no bodies, no clothing, no definitive clues. The site was barren, reinforcing the cruel irony of the case. Every potential lead seemed to vanish as inexplicably as the women themselves. The promising flicker of revelation was extinguished, leaving only dust and deeper despondency in its wake. Over the decades, investigators identified various persons of interest, as is common in prolonged cold cases, each one scrutinized with painstaking detail. Among them was Robert Craig Cox, a man already imprisoned for unrelated crimes, who made claims to a cellmate about knowing what happened to the Springfield Three. Cox maintained he was with his girlfriend at the time of the disappearance and provided an alibi, which was never definitively disproven. While police diligently pursued these leads, interviewing him multiple times, no concrete evidence ever directly linked him to the missing women, nor did his statements ever lead to their discovery. The investigative net, though cast wide, consistently came up empty, snagging only shadows. The absence of a body, famously, means the absence of a crime in the eyes of some. Yet for the Springfield Three, their very absence is the crime, a gaping hole in the fabric of justice. The scene at Delmar Street, so utterly devoid of conventional struggle, suggested an encounter with someone known to the victims, or an event so swift and overwhelming that it left no discernible trace. Forensic experts have often remarked on the peculiar lack of a struggle, a detail that continues to confound and shape the case's most enduring questions. Was it a meticulously planned abduction, executed with chilling precision, or something far more spontaneous and horrifyingly efficient, leaving no time for resistance? The city of Springfield, once a symbol of Midwestern normalcy and quiet resilience, became inextricably synonymous with this chilling enigma. The case of the Springfield Three transformed from a fleeting news story into a permanent fixture in local consciousness, a whispered legend passed down through generations, taught as a cautionary tale. It became an inherent, haunting part of the town's identity, a stark reminder that even in the most ordinary places, the fabric of reality can fray, leaving gaping, unfillable holes that time cannot mend. The quiet streets now held a different kind of quiet, one tinged with a pervasive sadness and an unspoken, communal question. The families, particularly the mothers of Suzie and Stacy, have endured an unimaginable purgatory, a life defined by an agonizing search for peace, the relentless hope that springs eternal, followed by the crushing disappointments of false leads, the media attention that ebbs and flows like the tide, all contribute to a unique form of grief. There is no grave to visit, no final farewell, no ritual of closure, only the eternal question: where are they? This profound uncertainty, this lack of resolution, is a wound that never truly heals, a constant gnawing pain that has defined their lives for over 3 decades, a silent scream in the heart of the Ozarks. As the years stretched into decades, the case of the Springfield Three officially transitioned into a cold case, a designation that signifies the active investigation has slowed, but the commitment to finding answers remains. It joined the ranks of America's most baffling disappearances, a testament to the chilling reality that some mysteries simply refuse to yield their secrets, stubbornly resisting every attempt at resolution. The methods of investigation evolved over time, embracing new technologies and forensic techniques, yet the core facts remained stubbornly immutable, locked away somewhere in the past, beyond the reach of modern science. Despite millions of dollars spent, thousands of tips pursued, and the tireless efforts of law enforcement and dedicated families, the fate of Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall remains profoundly unknown. Their faces, frozen in time on countless missing persons posters, stare out from the past, forever asking the same question, their youthful visages a haunting reminder of lives abruptly halted. The home on East Delmar Street, long since sold and renovated, still holds the spectral memory of that silent vanishing. A place where 3 lives simply ceased to be, leaving an emptiness that resonates through the decades. What truly happened in Springfield, Missouri, on that fateful June night in 1992? Did they leave willingly, only to meet an unforeseen terror beyond the confines of their home? Were they taken by force, yet so expertly that no trace was left behind, no sound heard, no struggle perceived? Or does the answer lie in some overlooked detail, a silent clue still waiting to be discovered in the vast, dusty annals of a decades-old mystery hidden in plain sight? The quiet city still waits, its collective breath held, for the truth to finally emerge from the haunting, impenetrable silence that has gripped it for so long.